And you got the next date?
You got your meeting date, 18th? Yes, okay. Coming to date.
Hello and welcome to the Maple Grove City Report. I'm Dave Kaiser from Northwest Community Television. Time for an update of what's new in the city of Maple Grove and also a look back at the most recent council meeting. That's all next for you right here on the Maple Grove City Report. Thanks again for joining us on the Maple Grove City Report. I'm Dave Kaiser, along with Al Madsen, Maple Grove City Administrator, studying the book of notes he has for you in the next half hour.
Right.
Welcome, Al.
Thank you, Dave.
We've got a rather short council meeting to talk about a 10-minute meeting we'll get to
Correct.
in just a couple minutes. But as always, a lot going on, especially springtime.
Oh,
a
yes.
lot starts to happen in the city of Maple Grove. Let's give people a little recap. What's new in town that we should know about?
Farmers Market is back with a lot of vim and vigor. It'll be starting Thursday, actually, it'll be the vendors preview, May 7th. And that'll be from 3 to 7, and that's inside at the community center. And that'll give all of our residents and non-residents a chance to see at least some of the vendors.
Okay.
Not all the vendors can fit in there. We probably have about another 53 to 55 total vendors this year.
Right.
And then I believe it's on June 12 is when the farmers market moves to the outside.
Excellent.
Yeah, and so there'll be about 20 or 22 vendors that will be on the vendor preview coming up on May 7th.
Great,
So.
and they again have a website link through the city's
Yes.
site, but also their own site. So if you're interested in finding out more about who those vendors are for the preview and throughout the year as well, you can certainly go to that site. and
Absolutely
take a
right.
look.
Very, very right. Maple Grove Days is coming up, even though here it's May and this is not till the first week in July, but it'll sneak up on us
Right.
pretty fast. And so MGCO, the Maple Grove Community Organization Committee, and Deb Syver, the president, they're working like beavers. They're just working really, really hard. And anybody that is interested in volunteering, because hundreds of volunteers are needed for something like this.
Right.
And so just give us a call at the Government Center or go to our website. They'll be happy to take anybody that's willing to pitch in for anything, doesn't matter.
Excellent,
So,
and a list is circulating of all of the events that are planned for this year.
Correct.
And it's about that big,
Yeah,
so
it's-
when you see that come, there's something that's going to meet your needs or your
Oh, yes.
family's needs at the event this year.
yeah, I think there'll probably be some new things, and then there'll be the same old stuff that we've always had. But
Right.
there's a lot of fun activities from, for the kids and for mom and dad and everybody. So. The other thing is we have coming up Thursday, May 7th, is the 11th Annual Mayor's Prayer Breakfast. This will be held at Rush Creek, starting at 7:15 a.m. It is sold out, and we have 219
Fantastic.
attendees. And the speaker this year will be Mike Fairborn, who was a former WCCO meteorologist. So we're looking forward to having him be our guest speaker.
Excellent.
So it's a great turnout, very, very strong turnout. Just a few other things. Single-family permits, so far we have issued 80 as compared to 80 last year, so
Okay,
we're
staying
right
on
on
pace.
track. There was an article in the paper that showed Maple Grove was, I think, running second to Minneapolis, and at least in my mind, it doesn't matter what place we are as long as we continue just to have quality housing and a good process and things like that. So we're not in a race. But it'll pick up.
Right.
This is just May, and things are going to really start to get cranking now. We have a planning commission vacancy. John McLaughlin, who was a longtime planning commissioner, and I want to thank him for his dedicated service. John was very, very good. He's very thoughtful. He studied the agenda. He asked very, very good, solid, in-depth questions. He and his wife are relocating to Florida. And so he has vacated his position on the Planning Commission. So we are now taking applications for people interested in being on the Planning Commission. That'd be to fill John's vacant position. It'll be a 2-week process, and they can go, we'll have an article in the Osseo Maple Grove Press the next 2 weeks, and then also information on our website. People can stop by City Hall and pick up an application, and you know, if they're interested in being on the Planning Commission. So, like I say, it's a 2-week process. Then, you know, we'll sort through the applications. Probably what will take place is that myself, the mayor, and my community development department director or Planning Commission chair will then conduct interviews and then pick someone from that to be on the Planning Commission. So,
And in a nutshell, the Planning Commission does what? It's a very important commission in the city of Maple Grove and certainly other cities around. In a nutshell, what do they do?
well, they review most cases that eventually get to the City Council. All the public hearings are held at Planning Commission. So, for example, if you have a development plan, public hearing, they take a look at zoning ordinance text amendments, a whole wide range of things. And then, you know, they do a thumbs up or thumbs down on the applications. They're a recommending body. They recommend either yes or no to the City Council. And so typically, a week after the Planning Commission has held their meeting, and about a week later, it then goes to the City Council for formal action. Now, doesn't mean the City Council has to always adopt what the Planning Commission says, but they do turn to the Planning Commission for guidance, and I think rightfully so.
And you said this is one where you're looking for applications now. Is it something where you have applications on file as well? Because I know we talk about it throughout the year that people can get their name in if they're interested in commissions. Would that be the same for Planning Commission?
Be the same thing. We do keep applications on file for a year. So if someone, you know, has submitted an application to us, you know, a few months back for the Planning Commission, they wouldn't have to submit a new one because we'll dust off the applications that we have on file. If they're interested in proceeding further. So.
But when there is an opening that comes up, you publicize it to try to encourage more people or others that might have forgot they applied to get another one in.
Right, absolutely right. No, we'll have it on our website, our Facebook. We'll have it on our. It'll be in the Osseo Maple Grove Press, you know, a couple of times. So. The only requirement is that you need to be a resident of the city, and you know, your schedule needs to be that you're able to attend night meetings because the Planning Commission meets twice a month, if not more, depending on, you know, circumstances. So meetings are at 7 o'clock at the Government Center. And so lately, you know, the Planning Commission activities have been fairly slow because development has been somewhat slow, but it does still take a lot of homework. So I encourage people that if they are interested in the Planning Commission, just be prepared to do your homework because you'll get a packet of material before each meeting that you need to go through, and then you need to, you know, work with staff on any questions. So
very good. So again, if you have an interest, look to the city's website and send that application in.
We excuse me, we just completed the end of the first quarter crime stats, and our crime stats are down, and that's good news. The one area which always seems to be struggling is shoplifting. And when you have the high level of retail that we do, shoplifting is inevitable. But businesses take a very, very strong stand on shoplifting. And so do we, and so, you know, shoplifters are prosecuted. So, but crime stats overall are down, and so we're very happy about that.
And information about that, would that be on the city's website as well, if people want to look at
eventually
more of that
will
information?
Be. Yes, eventually we'll be getting it on there. A couple of other things. The dome is still up for a little bit longer.
It's hanging in there.
It is. We decided to keep it up an extra 20 days just because of the volume of activity, and then for a while there, it was quite cool. Well, now things are starting to warm up, so dome will be coming down shortly. On Thursday, May 13th, I'll be giving a tour of the city for our seniors in Maple Grove. just a great bunch of folks, my peers, I guess I could say.
Okay.
I really enjoy providing a development tour for them because they're very, very interested in what's happening in this city. And they ask very good questions. And so be giving them another tour of Maple Grove. So that's always fun.
Is that full at this point, or if people are interested, any opportunity to get involved in that?
My understanding is that the bus is full.
Okay.
Yes, but for those that might be interested, just call Chris Orlock at the community center.
Okay.
And she coordinates that, and she'll be able to say if there's an opening or not. But my understanding is it's full. So.
Well, I can only imagine.
Yeah, right.
The presenter has all of the information, so it should be fun.
Right. We're working with Beyond the Yellow Ribbon. This is an organization that Maple Grove is an official, Beyond the Yellow Ribbon City, and we're working with them for some type of a memorial to be at the entrance area of our Central Park. So we're working with the officials of Beyond Yellow Ribbon. Also, the Maple Grove Lions have expressed an interest to help provide proceeds to kick that off. And so right now, things are just in a concept stage. Nothing is really cast in stone, but it would be some type of a memorial to our veterans of all wars, not just the most recent ones, but of all wars. And that'll be right at the south entrance of the Central Park. So we'll have a very, very wonderful, prominent place there.
And speaking of the Central Park, I just happened to drive through town the other day, and
along
it looks
well,
like,
isn't it?
Yeah, you can start to see some buildings and things out
Yes,
there. You think, okay, there's kind of the focal point of it.
Right.
Give us the update on that, of how it is going, and when the first elements might be open for people to use.
Oh, I would say we're probably looking at sometime in July, August, something like that.
Okay.
This is phase one that you see there now. Phase two probably may not start for another couple years. It all depends. We're doing this as we have the money. We've been saving the money, putting it in the piggy bank, and then we do these things on a as the cash is available. So there's no bonding or anything that's done for that. So, but that's come along very nicely, and that, the Central Park is such a nice focal point also for that entire area, because there's a lot of multifamily housing in that area, and so it's going to be just a great amenity to the folks and to the businesses in that area as well. So that's probably about it. I want to congratulate our police explorers and some of our police officers for their recent awards that they received for sharpshooting and a variety of different programs that were held at a conference. And so we have a very active explorer group, and in many cases some of those then become police officers or become police reserves and then move into police officers. So in fact, one of the police officers that we just brought on was a member of our police reserves for a number of years.
Great.
And move on to be a regular officer.
So if people wanted more information about the Explorers, as far as like what age group that is and what type of commitment it is, city's website, police department website?
City's website, and just call the police department as well, and they can send out information or they can direct you to your website information. So.
And is that just younger people? My recollection is it's for younger people, but if somebody like you and I wanted to be an explorer, could we?
Yeah, we could.
Okay.
Yeah. It's we don't we don't say that you can only be during the ages of such and such.
Sure.
So yeah, an older guy like me, if they trust me to be out there standing in traffic, who knows? But
maybe desk jobs for us, right?
Yeah, true. There you go. But yeah, there's no age limit. But yes, if you look at the police reserves, you'll see that they are young college kids that and many of them are majoring in criminal justice in college, and so this is a great opportunity for them to have experience with the police department. They graduate from college. Some of them may decide that they've decided they don't want to go into law enforcement.
Right.
Others say, well, hey, this is a great stepping stone. So it's a great program.
Yep.
We just have a wonderful group of folks. So.
All right. Congratulations to them.
The council meeting this past Monday night was short, as you mentioned. It was just 10 minutes long. We had a couple of things on consent that I want to bring to folks' attention. We're having a flood of retirees. Frank Campbell at the meeting 2 weeks ago, and Frank has about 30 years with us. He has submitted his retirement for the end of May. Frank's in our engineering department. Police officer Dave Hendrickson has submitted his retirement letter at the end of May.
Okay.
Rick Davidson, my building department director, has submitted his retirement at the end of May. We have another police officer that in June will be retiring. We have probably another couple of employees that will be retiring. We're all getting to that age, and so because I love you guys so much, I'll give you the scoop that my retirement letter will be on the June 1st City Council agenda.
And won't be accepted, I'm sure.
Well, they have the letter, and I'll be retiring in October 30.
Okay.
So looking forward.
We've
to
heard
it.
rumors this for
Well,
a
I
couple
just,
of years.
Just confirmed it now. Yeah, true. I've retired and unretired, so too many times, but this time it's for real. So it's.
But again, all of these are happening because I would guess, much like you, a lot of these people came to the city back in the very early days
yes.
when the city was starting up, and it was a great opportunity as
Perfect.
a first job for many
Sure.
people.
Oh yeah, it really was, because most of them, like Officer Hendrickson, he's got almost 30 years with us, and by the end of October, when I leave, it'll be 32 and a half, and so. One of our engineers has got more years of service than I do, so yeah, we're kind of all hitting around that age period. I'm the oldest kid on the block, so so maybe it is time that I retire. But then I'll figure out what I want to be when I grow up. So,
All right, that sounds good. So for the Maple Grove residents, should we be concerned? What's going to happen here? Is there going to be half the city staff there was as of today in May, June, October?
Now, one of the nice things is that we have always taken very care to make sure we have a nice transition program. And we try to hire from within to fill a vacancy. And so, with the police officers, that's always kind of a ripple effect.
Right.
But we try to have a good transition process and succession planning. We take very serious about succession planning. So, but in my case, they'll be looking outside. They'll start the process. I would think probably in June. If everything goes well, maybe have somebody selected by September.
Okay.
I'll hang around a little longer so there can be a smooth process with the new kid on the block coming in and me going out the door. So. Been a fun ride. It's been a fantastic ride, and so I am looking forward to what I'm going to do in my next career.
All right. Well, we've got quite a few shows with you still
Oh,
to
yes.
tell good stories. So
Oh, yes.
be watching.
I have 10 council meetings left. So
Okay,
who's
who-
counting?
yeah.
Right.
So that means what? 100 minutes worth of council meetings, right?
Yeah, 10 minutes or short.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a couple other things. We had a tavern in town that regretfully was selling spotted cow beer. I'd actually never heard of spotted cow beer, but I guess it's good. I don't know. But it can only be sold in Wisconsin, and that's determined by the brewery company. Unfortunately, the business was bringing kegs over to Maple Grove, selling it in Minnesota. The state has investigated it. I don't think that they've completed their findings yet, but it's one of those things where it's best to remove the city council from action of this and let an administrative law judge deal with it. And so we took action this past Monday night to approve an administrative law judge to handle this for us. The administrative law judge will hear both sides. They'll hear all the evidence put forth by the state. They'll hear the defense of the business, and then the administrative law judge will make a decision, and then that will determine our action.
Okay.
So then we get into the picture after the administrative law judge has determined a position on it. So it's possible that something like this could go all the way to the Court of Appeals. It's very possible, but we'll see. We'll just take it a step at a time, and it's a good business. And just unfortunately, they were selling beer in Minnesota that they could not.
Right.
So,
Okay.
We did declare a vacancy on the city council. As you know, Councilmember Sargent has retired, and so we've declared a vacancy beginning May 7th, Thursday, May 7th. There will be an article in the Osseo Maple Grove Press. It will be on our website. We'll be posting at various locations throughout the city that there is a vacancy. So applications will start to be accepted starting Thursday, May 7th. Applications will be accepted through Friday, May 5th.
Okay.
Through 4:30 p.m. Friday, excuse me,
May.
June 5th. June
Okay,
5th.
okay.
Friday, June 5th at 4:30 p.m. So people that are interested, they can either come by the government center, pick up an application, they can contact us, we'll mail it out to them, they can go to our website, you know. So anybody that is interested in serving on the city council. Now, this will only be through 2016. Councilmember Sargent had less than 2 years of her term remaining when
Right.
she retired, and so the council then can appoint a replacement. So what we'll do is we'll get all the applications in, the council will sort through those, and probably, well, I'm just picking a number, but probably maybe take the top 3 or maybe the top 4 choices and then conduct interviews. And then after that, decide who the individual is that would fill that vacancy.
Right.
And my thought is that we might have an individual on board by the second meeting in July. We probably will not have a first meeting in July due to the July 4th holiday.
Right.
So the second meeting in July, we'll have it on the agenda. And again, that individual will serve through 2016. If they decide that they like it, they can run for a full 4-year term. But that's how the process will be. And you have to be a resident. And certainly, you know, we encourage people that have been active in the city, if they're interested in continuing to be active. Council is a very demanding position. Some people will think, well, it's only 2 meetings a month. Well, it's not, because council members serve as liaisons to a variety of our boards and commissions. We have special meetings depending on circumstances, in the regular meetings, and it takes a lot of time, because you do have to do a lot of homework. So it's a very demanding position, but encourage anyone that's interested in, you know, serving on a council to, you know, make an application.
And we should make note for people in Maple Grove that might not know, Maple Grove's council members are all at large.
Correct.
So as far as where you live, that is not a factor. People coming from other cities might go, well, I have to live in that ward, but not the case in Maple Grove.
No,
right?
it's a very good point. I'm glad you mentioned that, because no, we're at large, and so at the end of 2016, or if you do decide that you want to run for an election for a full 4-year term, you'll be running citywide.
Right.
So
A lot of houses to walk
right,
and knock.
Right. So I'm glad you mentioned that, because we are not a ward system or a district system. So
Okay.
everybody's at large.
Very good. So again, look to the city's website to find out more information about that process, and we will keep you up to date on how it moves along here on the program.
That was about it. We did have just a very brief Housing and Redevelopment Authority meeting, just to adopt a resolution, excuse me, in participation with Hennepin County on affordable housing project, not in Maple Grove, but and that was it. Meeting, it was a 10-minute meeting, so it went quickly, and so we'll have more retirements coming up. We really hate to lose the individuals that
Sure.
we are losing. You know, wish them well, but you know, there's a wealth of experience and years of service that you know, just taken into consideration, you know, the last 3 with Frank and Rick and Dave.
Right.
Tremendous amount of years of experience there.
So when you look at that, obviously it's a negative in the ways you're talking about. You lose all that experience. Are there ways it's a positive? Are there ways that that type of transition is something that's positive for a city?
Well, I suppose a positive would be you're getting younger folks in, you're getting more energy, you're getting, you know, new thought process, new ways of doing things. You know, any time you get, you know, a new person in, you know, they're all energetic and they have, you know, new thoughtful ways of doing things. And so you have that I guess I'd see that as a positive, absolutely. Yeah.
And in many cases, as you mentioned, what the track record has been over the years, that a lot of people are moving up through the ranks.
Right,
So they may have learned under a master, if you will, or
True,
the person
right.
that's been there for 30 years and understand maybe the flavor of that department in the city of Maple Grove, because certainly
Yep.
an engineering department here is different than an engineering department in another city.
Absolutely is. Some people may think, well, all engineering departments are alike in every city, and that's not the case. Each city has their own, style, and so. But yeah, we try to do as much succession planning as we can, so that if employee A does retire, there's employee B or C that can move into that spot. So we don't have to spend a lot of time and money doing a search. But bringing in new folks is good. Getting rid of the dead wood like me. It's
No, I don't know if I
bring
would
in
go there.
bring in the new folks. But it's I don't think it's a negative for the city.
Nope.
Other than yes, losing a lot of years of experience.
Sure.
But those that are going to be moving into those positions, in most cases, are already working for the city,
Right.
and already have the experience and know how the city works.
Exactly.
So,
We've got a
Short
couple
meeting.
minutes left here as we're in the middle of May, beginning May. We taped this program. We should probably talk a little roads. Any roads in the fine city of Maple Grove we should be avoiding here now or in the upcoming months, or at least paying some extra attention to?
well, we'll have a street reconstruction, projects going, but that only really impacts residents of a particular area. 494, that's a project that will
Yes.
continue all of 15 and probably well into 16. 610 is underway. So as far as any roads, we're going to be doing some street improvements and things like that. But putting aside 494, there shouldn't really be any major traffic issues. We are giving thought to. There's a lot of traffic that turns onto Fountain Way to go into the fountains at Arbor Lakes. A lot of it then takes a left and heads down to Costco or Freddy's or somewhere else in that area.
Yeah, it has been a little bit of a bottleneck for
It
cars.
is, yes, it is. And so we are seriously looking at putting in a right-hand turn just up Elm Creek a little bit further where Costco folks would come in. And so that
Okay.
should help relieve some of that congestion on Fountain Way there. And so, but that's in the planning stages, but we're hoping that maybe we can get something like that implemented yet this year. So.
Okay, very good.
So-
So we'll keep our eyes out for that. Al, thanks again for your time
Thanks,
and for
Dave.
the update.
Good to be
Let's
here.
leave you with some information. We mentioned a lot during the program that would direct you to the city's website. You see it there, maplegrovemn.gov. So if you have questions or want more information about the Planning Commission opening, the council opening, some of the events coming up for Maple Grove Days, and even if you want to join Al and I in the Explorers program, okay, maybe not us, but you can go to the city's website to find out more about that. Next meeting is on Monday, May 18th, 7:30 at the Government Center, and 494-6000 is the number to call to get to the Government Center. Our viewer response line, 533-1710. If you have questions or comments about the program, certainly do give us a call. For Al Madsen, I'm Dave Kaiser. Thanks for joining us on the Maple Grove City Report.